Good evening and welcome to my midweek recap here for Apple and plan ahead for the remainder of the week. I've taken a couple of trades here in Apple that have actually not worked out in my favor. These 225s I did add here on the 8 EMA test, that failed, and then on Monday here went ahead and got out once this gap held. Anytime a position gaps against me, just like on the way up and I add the positions, I don't close it out right away. You get the worst fill, and it's never going to be a good idea to just close out of emotion. So green open here on the 5 minute. Thought maybe it was going to get some follow through. It did push down. I was unavailable and actually finally put in a stop loss right here at 220 once it started to climb up over VWAP. I was hoping it was going to hold, and of course I sold the low of pretty much the dead low of this candle. So failed trade there, and then into, let's see, is that Tuesday? Oh, excuse me, still Monday. Went ahead, I took another position here as price action started to break above and put in what looked like a move higher this inside range. I got into the 28 September 222 and a half calls here at 283, which also failed once it broke lows here at 235. Of course, in hindsight, if I would have held those overnight and had a nice move on Tuesday, it would have been very profitable. Such is the case. It is what it is. Oh well, there's plenty of other opportunities to trade. So today I got into a little bit of a longer term play, not too far out in the future, but this is a pure pattern play, not off of any of my significant supports, but just a pattern that I see developing here on the chart, which is a huge W. You'll see this pattern in a lot of my other videos. It's one of my favorites. When they do work out, they're very, very profitable and can really help out the P&L for the year. What I'm seeing here is a potential W, a double bottom here off of a prior support, a prior all-time high that should now be support. So we had this nice flag move up. It's bounced around, chopped, had a couple of wicks right here at an inside day, and finally broke higher. So right now we're retesting that initial breakout level. Just because it's come back down to that level doesn't mean it's does not mean it's bearish. It just looks simply like a retest to me. Now, if it does fail, I'm only going to be out, this position in these calls, and I'll wait for my next support. But I'm looking for this move to at least go up here to 229, 230 area in the very near future. And the overall price target is going to be up here around 242. Should have enough time in these options for it to at least turn a profit. Not necessarily go in the money, but just looking for a quick pop higher, especially with the volume and the candle that came in today here at this significant level. A lot of bears are looking at this as a potential bear flag, which it rose way too high to be a bear flag, first of all. Second of all, came down and retested and has put in a false breakdown at a prior breakout level. So looks to me like there may be some bears trapped. If we break above today's high, 219.62, probably going to start triggering some stops here. Going to be some stops up here and possibly even up here to this little bitty gap. So a nice little flash up to 223 would be awesome. It'd make these very profitable, and I would be happy to take some profits off the table at that point. For now, that's the position that I am in. If that fails for whatever reason, there's my note here from yesterday, what I was looking at to go ahead and get in this. This note should have actually been moved over here, but oh well. If price action does fail and I am stopped out of those positions, I'll be looking at 210 calls about a month in the future at the 50 SMA down here. Down below there is the 200 SMA, looking for 185 calls about 4 weeks in the future. Generally, when price is below these 8 and 21 moving averages, I will be bearish on a name, but with market making all-time highs, a potential W pattern and a very bullish trend at all-time highs, I'm going to take that as a long position pretty much 100% of the time. So worst case scenario at this point, I see we may be developing into a big rectangle, which is just a range trade from 216 up here to around 230, 229, 230 area. So for now, this is my trade plan, what I'm looking at doing here for the next week. Maybe get in some positions for earnings coming up in the next month, and we'll see what happens. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Have a good evening and good luck tomorrow.